And that's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Joining us now is Noah Rothman, associate editor of HotAir.com. Noah, great to talk to you. I am so with you. I follow the sports very closely on Saturday night. I'm watching the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but yet I'm seeing what's going on outside of Camden Yards, where they flashed up on the scoreboard that you're not allowed to leave because of unrest going on in the neighborhood outside the ballpark. And here we saw fans getting attacked in that video we just ran. But the media, I guess they're in love with themselves because they didn't tell us anything about what was going on the streets of Baltimore.
Yeah, it was particularly unseemly on the part of at least the cable news press, and for the most part, even most of the networks, save for local media coverage. There was at one point somebody even on CNN who said that directed viewers to just go to Twitter or Google, local media and find somebody to cover this event because they're in the midst of making a decision, and their decision was to cover the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a gala event, a red carpet affair, covered by E! Networks, which has become a really decadent event, and it was not a good look for the major networks or the press to just be abdicating their role as journalists in this case, particularly when they've covered so extensively similar events of unrest directed at law enforcement in places like Ferguson and New York City.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Noah. And the damage outside Camden Yards was one thing. They were throwing garbage cans through police car windows, breaking store windows. I mean, this was outrageous. This was reminiscent of Ferguson. And basically in the aftermath of it, since they didn't cover it live, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen much on it either. And this speaks to so much. The networks are just, I mean, CNN is usually out there begging for a protest, begging for something to happen. What is it about the Correspondents' Dinner that Poppy Harlow couldn't go to somebody in the street in Baltimore?
Yeah, it's exactly an hour drive from Metro Washington, D.C. It wouldn't have taken long to get a correspondent there, but they didn't want to break the coverage of this event, A, for its celebrity, B, for the fact that it actually drives a little bit of ratings on a weekend, and C, because this profession is notorious for just being really infatuated with itself. There are probably more awards given to the industry of journalism by journalists for journalists than any other entertainment medium, but Broadway, Hollywood, the Grammys, music. This is an industry that fancies itself an entertainment industry increasingly. I've argued that it always has been. But it's letting that veil slip recently a lot.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to something else that you wrote about at HotAir.com, and that's that the Russians have been reading Obama's emails. And talk to me about that. How serious is this? Does it open him up for blackmail? I mean, we know that he was, talking through email staff members and others, and if the Russians could do this, don't tell me they don't have all of Hillary's emails that she deleted.
Yeah, that's the big glaring episode here. For a political problem for Hillary Clinton is the fact that A, this reminds the voting public that the Russian reset was a nightmarish disaster, and two, it opens up the possibility that her emails were hacked. We already know that the State Department dealt with what an official called its worst ever hack in autumn of last year. It required diplomats who were negotiating with Iran and Vienna to use private email in order to keep in touch with each other. It was a horrible hacked, and it was linked to the Russians. Apparently, this is a very similar attack linked to the Russian government also. And while it went after Obama's unclassified email account, you can gather a lot of sensitive intelligence from just secretive emails that are sent over an unclassified account that aren't necessarily top secret. And we understand that a lot of negotiations were going place between officials within Washington. There was policy debates, internal debates that the president was involved in, which could indicate to somebody privy to those emails who has really a lot of influence over the president. You can use that information to make significant gains diplomatically if you were so inclined to leverage internal debates within the White House so as to put forward your position, advance your position. The Russians have been doing extremely well diplomatically over the course of the last 60 years. They've been instrumental in Iran, instrumental in Syria, and I would imagine that their ability to penetrate White House communications networks has something to do with that.
Yep, do we want a new president whose emails are probably in the hands of Iran and Russia and God knows who else, and that she could be very easily blackmailed, because you can't tell me she didn't erase information that would be, at the very least, embarrassing to her. Great stuff. Also, folks, go to Hot Air and read all about how George Bush, Noah's piece on George Bush speaking out finally against Barack Obama at the RJC in Vegas. Thank you, Noah. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.